strongest giant Loki has just been freed with his thunder god weapon of Ragnir in hand. I mean, just imagine Rodo telling the other giants of the person they follow and worship, Luffy, as the sun god wants to release the biggest threat their country has ever seen. This would prove Loki right that the sun god brings destruction. But all of this just results in some more domestic violence, with Rodo getting the short straw again. Meanwhile, cutting back to Luffy and Zoro, who finally make it to Loki, but unfortunately they find him in a near-death state from what happened back in chapter 1137. Luffy tries to even open his chains, but since it's made of sea stone, he becomes useless once again. However, Zoro doesn't want to release Loki yet, since he decided to speak to him first to determine the type of person he is. And what does Zoro do? He copies Faivanji's moves, smashing Loki's wounds with his leg.
He copied my whole flow! Word for word, bar for bar!
And why did Zoro do this? Well, to make sure Loki wasn't faking it. Luffy even comes to Loki's defense, but Zoro just states that if this kills him, that's just fate. This dude was weak as hell. This is just Zoro being Zoro, nothing new here to see. This honestly shows the similarities between Loki and Luffy and why our captain is so trusting of the giant, as just like Luffy became friends with the giant animals of Ruskaina during the time skip, Loki also is beloved by these creatures, whereby being ostracized by the village for who he is, the only refuge he could find is with these beasts. Luffy, with his 500 emotional IQ, understands this after how loyal these animals are to Loki. Another question then arises: what happened to Shamrock's sword, which was left behind to kill Loki? The injuries are severe and all the animals have fallen in an attempt to protect Loki. But since Loki is still alive, the only possibility might be that Shamrock summoned back his sword before it could land a killing blow, or a sea stone chained Loki was strong enough to beat a mythical zone fruit. Which makes sense considering even the former Pirate King's left hand was scared to face him, especially since Zoro glazes him further by calling him the size of oars. This claim should not be taken lightly, because oars and even oars juniors of the ancient island puller race are 3 times the size of even the biggest giants. Dory, Broggy, and Hjarden, who is the half-brother of Loki, are around 22 meters tall, while oars was 67 meters and oars junior was 60 meters. So if Zoro's claim is to be believed, this makes Loki nearly 3 times the size of a giant. To the giants, Loki himself is a giant, it seems. Perhaps that's why he felt different from all the others and was misunderstood. However, just as Luffy leaves for the village, he hears something coming from the sky as Hjarden and Sanji, along with the new giant pirates, come flying down to the underworld on their mist ship. Apparently, Hjarden heard about Luffy's plan from Rodo and rushed to stop him and Zoro from liberating his half-brother, but since they were in such a rush, they didn't come to the underworld by normal means and just flew there using the spar. Unfortunately for them, there are no island clouds in the lower levels of Elbaf, so the spar and the crew just end up falling face first. Who is that over there? What the hell is Faivanji doing with them? My guy found his giantessy and ended up traveling with them to the underworld. He was gooning to his death. Like, bruh still has hearts coming out of him while free falling.
For the love of God! Please!
But here, Luffy just proves his Yonko status to us once again. Using his rubber balloon form, he saves the spar from crashing. And with the new giant pirates finally joining their fleet commander, Hjarden thanks Luffy for saving them, but begs him not to release his brother by stating that anything that Loki says is just a sinister scheme. Nothing good would come from helping him. Like, the guy will literally kill a friend without any remorse, as his own brother calls him an enemy of the world. Which isn't what we have seen so far, as Loki truly cares for his beast friends of the underworld. However, it's a little too late for that, as we finally get to see Loki unchained and standing in front of Luffy, who looks like an ant in comparison. Loki looks to be colossal even when compared to regular giants. Even Luffy is shocked since Loki's supposed to be knocked out from his injuries, but let's be honest, we all knew this was coming. It's possible that by removing some of the sea stone cuffs, Loki started to get some of his stamina back, and he used his devil fruit power to come back to life or heal his wounds. From all the stories we have heard about the fallen prince, there is no way these injuries were enough to put him down to begin with. And just like that, Loki is free and ready. And with a malevolent smile, he grabs his weapon Ragnir. Even Hjarden tells his brother to stay away from it, known as the Iron Thunder. So Loki literally is kind of like Thor in the One Piece world, possibly even hinting at his thunder god power. So if Gaban faced off against Loki, it would literally look like this. Honestly, why the hell did the Giants leave this dude's big ass weapon right next to where he was imprisoned? This is weird as hell. This is sus, bro. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, watch the other video on screen right now. I am cooking a dragon video. You guys are not ready for this next dragon cope, so stay tuned for that next month.